Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Just Because of Manchester United. And let's quickly review that game that happened between Lyon and Man United tonight out there in France. It was the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final tie. From Man United point of view, it was really disappointing because I felt like we had that game and we just let it go. Onana really did not cover himself in glory with all of those back and forth that he had with Matic. He let the Serbian have the last laugh. I think Amorim did what he could, put out the best legs that we had. Onana, Mazraoui, Maguire, Yoro has been fantastic over the last few weeks, by the way. Ugarte, Casemiro has also been in good form. Dalo, Dogu, Bruno, obviously, the magnifico talismanic Portuguese. Oilund, I don't know, he needs to find his scoring boots. Then Garnacho also. I think Lyon also put out a really strong squad with what they had. It was surprising that Lacazette started from the bench, but Giorgio Mikotadze, as he gave us a really good fight up front. I think the opening minutes of the game, I think we played really well. I think we started well. We're composed. We're keeping the ball. They were also keeping the ball, obviously. I think good chances. They moved the ball out where they beat. We also tried to get a few crosses in. I think Oiling should have at least hit the target with that first chance he got. It was pretty disappointing that a striker of at the level, Man United level, couldn't hit the target from just inside the box. It's in. Bruno also got that chance that was blocked and went out for that corner kick. Lyon's goal, it had been disappointing, really disappointing. Dead ball situation again. We've considered so many goals from set pieces this season. The cross came in. Onana should have saved that. Any goalkeeper, any top level goalkeeper, a goalkeeper at the level of Man United should be saving that. And it was pretty sad that after all of that back and forth with Matic during the week, him going back and forth saying Matic saying statistically he's the worst goalkeeper in Man United history, him replying and said, he's won a title with Man United. I felt like he was due for a big performance, and he really did not cover himself in glory tonight. It was sad that I considered that first goal. A cross came in from Thiago Almada, and the goalkeeper just couldn't deal with it. I was, from a Man United point of view, I was hoping that the flag would go up either for Niakite, who looked like it was offside, but Yoro kept them on, and it was really disappointing. Really, really disappointing that we considered the first goal from that sort of play. But I think we settled into the game, moved the ball out wide. I think Dalo and Garnacho caused a lot of trouble for Tagliafico on the Lyon left side. We got back on track, free kick, Bruno whipped in. That goalkeeper really didn't do it really well. Then obviously we got to send it back in, and then Yoro got his first goal for Man United, which was really bad. I think that lad has been good in the last few weeks. I think he's been one of our best players over the last few weeks. It was really great seeing him get on the score sheet. But one thing that stood out for me was immediately he scored that goal, even though it was on the cusp of halftime, he really did not even jubilate. He wanted us to go back, and quickly see if we could do something. And that's the sort of mentality that I want from a 19-year-old. I think it was good. The first half was good. We came into the second half, changes had to be made. Oiling had to go. He wasn't holding up the ball. He wasn't passing the ball. For some reason, he just looks like a shadow of himself this season. I know he's still young. I know there's still time for him, but this is Man United. There's no excuses. You need to be counted. You need to show what you have, what you can offer. I think Amorim got the changes right. Obviously, Zirkzee coming in for Oiling. Obviously, Mason Mount coming in for Ugarte. Maguire going out because I think he's the only guy that can play the CCB that we have at the moment, which Matthias de Ligt out injured, bringing in Lindelof. Kobe was good to also see Kobe Mino back after a couple of weeks. Really great. He had a hand in the second goal that we scored, kept the ball from going outside. Bruno, very magnificent, got that ball from Mino. The quality to be able to see Zirkzee at the far post and the quality to put the ball on the money for the Dutchman. It was something that only him, I think, has on that side. And that's something that we need to look into going into the summer. We need to get somebody else that could also create goals for us. We don't have to always rely on Bruno creating and scoring at the same time. I think we put so much pressure on the Portuguese man to always create, to score, to do everything for us. And you could see it in the final third sometimes. When the ball gets to somebody that's not Bruno, it looks like the player has broken down. But when the ball is with Bruno, everybody's moving. But when it is somebody else that's not Bruno, everything breaks down and it slows our tempo down. But great cross from the Portuguese, finding Zirkzee, and what they header from the Dutchman. Even though it was from close range, but what they header from the Dutchman. He's a confidence booster. He's played really well in the last few weeks. Put behind him all of those troubles in the beginning of the season, and now he's sort of finding his own footing in the team. 2-1. I felt like we had the game in the bag. A couple, I think 5-6 minutes extra time, and I felt like okay, we could actually win this. But Lyon got a couple of chances. I think we were a bit lackadaisical in the dying embers on the game. They got a couple of chances. Like I said, flubbed his line. I think Rayan Cherki himself. So I was expecting something was going to happen from the French guys, but it didn't happen. I think we got another chance up front. Bruno and Zirkzee 1-2. We're a bit, like I said, we're a bit lackadaisical in the dying embers of the game. We should have put that game to bed. We had an opportunity to get a third goal, or better still, take the ball to the corner and waste some time. And that's something that's very important at this level in Europe. The experience of time management, basically. We did not manage time very well in the dying embers of the game. And it was disappointing that our big guns, our more experienced players, were losing the ball up top. They got the ball. They had that belief in them. I didn't really see what happened on the right from Dalo for the ball to come down to the left. I felt like Dogu should have dealt with the ball down here. He made it so easily for Maitland-Niles to get the ball. I know, give it to Cherki. Cherki drove into the box. Give it to Lacazette. Cherki again. But what can I say? You cannot, like I said earlier, you cannot have that sort of back and forth with an opposition team's player. You cannot come out to the media and say, "Oh, your team is better than your opponent." Then you play the way you played today. Onana did not cover himself in glory today, and that's not something that we should hide. That's not something we can hide. He didn't cover himself with glory today. It cost us 2 goals today. The first goal should have dealt with it. The second goal should have dealt. You cannot be pushing that back into the danger area. That was the last action in the game. You literally pushed that back. There was nothing on the shot, and you pushed it back into the danger area. You could have pushed it to the right. You could have pushed it to the left. But pushing that back into the danger, and that's something he's done countless times this season. I saw a stat before the second goal where the stat says he has considered, or he has done more errors leading to goal for any Premier League goalkeeper in all competitions since he got to Man United. 8, and that was before the second goal. So after the first goal, errors leading to goal in all competitions for Onana, 8, and that says a lot. When your rear guard, when the defense cannot confidently rely on the goalkeeper, it's a lot of pressure. You could see it in a play I think it was in the second or first half. Maguire had the chance to leave the ball for him, but he chose to boot it out for a throw-in. So there's no communication, there's no confidence that our goalkeeper can actually deal with the ball, and that's why you see our players flying into tackles, trying to get the ball away from coming into the rear guard, and that's something that it needs to be worked on. I think he needs to be dropped. This is not me being hard on him. I do not want to be hard on him. I'm a Man United fan. I respect every single Man United player, and I hope they can get us a trophy. I hope they can do well this season and just get us this Europa League to right a lot of the wrongs that we've done this season. But I think he needs to be saved from himself. I think Amorim needs to save him from himself. I think over the last few weeks he's not been himself. So it was understandable that we didn't have a second choice because Bayenda was out injured, Tom Eaton was out injured. But now that those two guys are back, I think even if it's just in the weekend game against Newcastle in the Premier League, just let him sit down and just save him from himself. But all in all, by the way the game was going, I think it was a fair result. I think if United had won this game, it would have been a bit unlucky or unfortunate on the part of Lyon. I think 2-1 wasn't a bad result. 2-2 rather wasn't a bad result for both sides with the way the game went. But I think 2-1 would have been a better result coming from a Man United fan perspective. But what can we do? We have to shift our attention to the weekend where we'll be playing Newcastle in the Premier League. I really don't have anything to fight for anymore in the Premier League. I just want us to, if I had my way, right, to be Amorim, play the young guys in the Premier League and let the big boys deal with the Europa League. We need to win the Europa League. We need to win this competition because we need to get back to the Champions League next season. Not just because of respect, but the money. We need money to be put into this club to get big players. And the lure of the Champions League helps us get big names too. Enough of getting this, no disrespect to anybody, further players. We need to get players that can actually set us on the right tracks. We need a striker. We can't have our strikers don't even have 10 goals this season. Our strikers have not even scored 10 goals this season. We need to get a striker, and that all deals with the finances, the money. So we need to find a way to win this Europa League and get to the Champions League. But all in all, I think it was a good game of football. I loved the energy of the Lyon fans. I loved the energy. Hopefully, the Old Trafford going fans next week, Thursday, can replicate that, and get behind the team, push them, propel them to win. And even if it's Onana that is going to be in goal in the next game, please, guys, let's not crucify him as much. But I think, let's support him. But if I were to be Amorim, like I said, I think he needs to be saved from himself. 1-2 games, just let him sit on the bench. Just sit. Sometimes players need to be saved from themselves. Sometimes they don't know when to stop. All in all, please subscribe, like, and share this YouTube channel. If you're a Man United fan, you want to know everything about Man United, all the happenings, all the dealings in the club, transfer windows, big topics. This is the channel to tune into. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'll see you some other time.